Support for NPR comes from this station. And from Lilly Endowment, a private foundation supporting NPR's coverage of religion and spirituality. And from the Lemelson Foundation, working to harness the power of invention and innovation to accelerate climate action and improve lives around the world. Learn more at lemelson.org.
Funding for WPLN News comes from you, our listeners. And EF Financial, empowering women investors with personalized strategies. EF Financial, a woman-owned company, investing for women by women. More information and disclosures at ef-financial.com.
The world takes you outside U.S. borders and connects you with the most important events happening all across this big blue marble. We introduce you to memorable people whose stories will stick with you. I'm Carolyn Beeler, global news and inspiring voices that connect us with people around the globe. Join us weekdays on The World.
This afternoon at 2 on 90.3 WPLN News.
This is 90.3 WPLN,
Nashville Public Radio,
and 91.7 WHRS Cookeville,
Nashville's home for Morning Edition and NPR News.
WPLN.org is where you can find more from WPLN News, including the Nashvillager, your human-powered newsletter and podcast, exploring Nashville news and history. Subscribe to both at WPLN.org.
From Nashville Public Radio, I'm Blake Farmer, and this is Nashville. Today, we're doing brunch, the Nashville way. It's a meal that is so much more. Community, ritual, reflection. We'll talk about brunch spots, brunch as an institution, and brunch etiquette. Plus, how do you go from having people over for a light meal into calling it a brunch? And we'll talk through appropriate brunch attire. I'm wearing a bow tie for this episode, if that gives you any ideas. We're streaming on YouTube today. If you'd rather get the visual experience, there will be eating. Brunch with us. After the news, this is Nashville.
Sharing news and stories from the voices of Middle Tennessee. That's This is Nashville. Our show is made possible by Music City Prep Clinic. This is Nashville is in service to you. So if you have an idea for the show or feedback you'd like us to hear, leave us a voice message at 615-751-2500.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Lakshmi Singh. President Trump is disputing the notion that his administration's holding back files related to the late financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
From what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given, but it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president.
Earlier in the hour, women who say they were abused by Epstein, in some cases when they were underage, were speaking out on Capitol Hill. They've joined a bipartisan congressional effort for full transparency. The women allege powerful people have yet to be held to account for participating in Epstein's crimes or covering up for him. Epstein died by suicide in 2019. President Trump addressed the Epstein file controversy as he was hosting the president of Poland, Karol Nawrocki. Esme Nicholson reports Russia's war with Ukraine is on the leader's agenda.
Nawrocki's meeting at the White House is his first foreign trip since taking office last month, and he is expecting a warm welcome. Trump has praised Poland for spending the highest GDP percentage of any NATO member on defence. But nervous of Russia, Nawrocki is expected to push for an increased US commitment to Polish security, including keeping US troops on NATO's eastern flank. And while Poland is a big purchaser of US weapons, Trump is expected to push Nawrocki to buy more, both for its own defence and on behalf of Ukraine. Nawrocki has promised to continue to support Kyiv, but like the US administration, has accused Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky of taking advantage of Ukraine's allies. For NPR News, I'm Esme Nicholson in Berlin.
A panel of the U.S. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals has blocked the Trump administration from using a wartime power to deport Venezuelans from 3 states. NPR's Jimena Bustillo reports that means the issue of President Trump's use of the Alien Enemies Act could wind up back at the Supreme Court.
The latest court decision blocks deportations with the use of the act from Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Earlier this year, Trump invoked the 18th century wartime power to help streamline deportations of Venezuelans he says are members of the Tren de Aragua gang. Since then, the use of this power has attracted numerous legal challenges, including 2 prior Supreme Court decisions. But the High Court has yet to directly address the larger question of whether Trump's invocation of the Alien Enemies Act at all was legal. This preliminary injunction can now be appealed by the Trump administration to settle that bigger question. Jimena Bustillo, NPR News, Washington.
At last check on Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down more than 200 points, or roughly 0.5%. The Nasdaq was up more than 200. You're listening to NPR News. Newsmax is suing Fox Corporation and Fox News, alleging they are breaking federal antitrust laws with efforts to block competition among right-leaning television networks. Newsmax says Fox has been, quote, coercing distributors into unfair carriage agreements designed to exclude or marginalize competitors. A wildfire has destroyed homes in California's historic Chinese camp and has burned historic structures in the town Chinese immigrants established during California's 19th century gold rush era. The fire is one of nearly 24 that broke out across Northern California, sparked by lightning strikes yesterday. A new study finds that deforestation in South America's Amazon rainforest is worsening during the dry season. NPR's Nate Rott reports it makes the region more susceptible to wildfires.
Think of a tree like a water pump. Rain falls and is absorbed by the ground, where tree roots suck it up and move it back upwards. Water vapor is then released from tiny pores in leaves far above, fueling more rain. That process is especially important in the Amazon during the dry season. And the new study published in the journal Nature Communications finds that deforestation, mostly for agriculture, is directly responsible for 75% of rainfall decreases during the drier season. Drier vegetation means more wildfires, the researchers warn, which kill trees and exacerbate the problem. Nate Rott, NPR News.
I'm Lakshmi Singh, NPR News.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Progressive, with small business insurance for protecting a variety of business types with multiple coverage options, designed to fit business owners' needs. More about small business insurance is at progressivecommercial.com.
Funding for This Is Nashville comes from you, our listeners, and Margaret W. Wong and Associates, providing a range of immigration services for companies and individuals with attorneys and staff who speak English, Spanish, Mandarin, and many more languages. Learn more at imwong.com.
I'm Blake Farmer, and this is Nashville. Chicken and waffles, shrimp and grits, powdered sugar on fresh French toast, maybe bottomless mimosas. The staples for brunch vary from place to place, but brunch is more than a midday meal. It's kind of a concept, isn't it? And today, we are improving our collective understanding of brunch in Middle Tennessee. And to get us started, guest producer Anthony White, who also dressed me today in this fair bow tie. He's the man behind today's show, and he's going to get our mouths watering with a tasting from a couple of local brunch spots.
Stepping into soul on Charlotte Pike in Nashville is like stepping into a 70s-style jiving nightclub. Classic round booths surrounded by dim, ambient lighting, and even midday, soul music was pumping from the speakers. Greenery covered each wall, the cascading, vibrant florals dangling overhead with upside-down umbrellas swaying over the centerpieces. John Smith, owner of Soul, was inspired to bring soul to a city traditionally known for a different kind of music.
I'm a native Nashvilleian, and I grew up in Nashville all my life, and Nashville has so much country everything, so I wanted to create something with soul in it.
It's time to eat, and I decided I needed to go for the classics.
So we have chicken waffles that's covered with pecans, It also has some strawberries on top, and it is drizzled with some maple syrup as well as chicken. So let's try this. So good.
Chef Diamond Denson tells me she happened upon Soul one night and decided this is where she wanted to be. I had a question about the chicken and waffles. I thought I tasted apple. I was wrong.
No, not apple. It's some goodness in there. Okay. Cinnamon, vanilla, mixture, just a little bit of something extra, but it's not apple.
Oh, it's not apple.
No, it's not apple.
Might be too fine to hit it from behind. Reflection in the mirror, don't decline.
Next, I head to historic downtown Clarksville for another unique experience. Located across from the Roxy on Franklin Street sits Yada, an old downtown building reimagined into a metropolitan big city feel, complete with exposed brick walls aligning the fully stocked bar. Tall posts with a natural age patina hold up a hunter green ceiling with a paisley pattern. I go straight to the bar and, for research purposes, ask for one of the most popular drinks at Yada. Bartender Zeta Sawyer hooks me right up.
Our espresso martini is like no other. We use real espresso. We don't use like a coffee liqueur or anything. We use real espresso from our machine. So it just makes it like that much better and smoother. It's super, super yummy.
At the bar, I find Darla Knight, a Bay Area-born, New York City-raised U.S. Army veteran with her readers on her nose. Darla actually flew her staff to Italy for a complete immersive experience. This attention to detail is what makes these Italian-style dishes so special.
It's very similar to Spanish tapas, so it's small sharing plates. We kind of embellished it a little bit, so we designed every cicchetti dish to really feed 4 people 2 or 3 bites. True cicchetti, true Venetian-style cicchetti is, when I say a bite, I mean like a half of a hard-boiled egg. Like, it's a bite.
But she doesn't limit brunch to one cuisine at Yada.
I love challah bread. It's an egg bread.
Okay.
So these are just challah bites. But I think the main event is going to be that cream. So that is a combination of whipped cream, a little bit of cream cheese, some cinnamon, and some real maple syrup.
At a nearby table, one patron, Hugh Hale, decided Yada would be a perfect spot for him and his family to celebrate his birthday.
Yada's the only brunch spot we would consider because of the quality of the food, the selection, the atmosphere, everything. It's just great. Amazing cinnamon rolls. Oh, biscuits and gravy probably is near the top of my list. So it's like fits all of it, yeah.
Wrapping up, I try signature dishes like the burrata toast, fresh Italian bread topped with a creamy cheese, and I can't forget about the fresh strawberries, a balsamic, and basil that wafts from the plate as it was placed in front of me, and the tater tots, which give no justice to how crispy and flaky the fried potato is. Add bacon, cheddar, and a lime cremate topped with the chives, and so much more, like a whole spread more. For This Is Nashville, I'm Anthony Watt.
If your mouth is watering, I guess that's the point, and it may be just the beginning. We're ready to eat, and we may be able to do a little bit of that here in the studio. My mouth is watering because there's food that surrounds me, and even our guest brought a whole spread that the staff is attacking now. So we're grateful that it's the lunch hour. But if you want to check out this episode, it's a good one to watch instead of just listen on the video stream. YouTube.com/@WPLN. Just click on that live tab and you'll catch us live here in the studio. Okay, and what will you see? Well, you'll see me in a bow tie that producer Anthony has helped me out with today so I can be dressed for brunch. And in the studio is John Smith, owner of Soul Restaurant. Welcome.
Thank you.
And Jerod Wilcher, owner of Butterfly Garden Brunch. Welcome to This Is Nashville.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Jerod. So over here on my left, I've got a few items that you brought plenty of out in the hallway. But can you tell me what we're eating? I'm going to eat and see if I can keep talking afterward.
All right. Let's see if you can do that.
All right.
So that's one of the house specials right there, one of the staples for my brunch. It is a shrimp and grits, but it's not your ordinary grits. It's a stone grind grits, cooked in a lot of love, broth, butter, cream, and a whole lot of cheese.
Don't tell me about the butter, cream, and cheese. I like to assume that it really may not be that bad for me. Plus, there's the shrimp in there. A very lean seafood. That's delicious.
Thank you.
And I can feel the love in it.
Yes, it's love.
All right, so what are these wings, and is it dangerous for me to eat them on the air?
No, it's not dangerous for you to eat on the air, but you might want to eat about 3 or 4 of them when you get through. But that's my Hennessy and honey wing.
Oh, they are sweet.
Oh, yeah. So it's a sweet chili and honey sauce infused with Hennessy, and it's a deep-fried naked wing. You merge those two together, and you got heaven bliss, my brother.
What makes it naked?
Well, it's not floured or breaded.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That is delicious. I'm sorry that you're having to listen to me chew.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
It does. Oh, wow. All right, John, you've brought me some sweets over here. What is this chess pie? Anything special here?
It's homemade.
There we go. Isn't chess pie a very simple? It's just like a few ingredients, maybe.
Yes, it is.
Well, what's your secret to make it so good?
Well, I'm not the chef, so my chef is not here. I just brought it. Chef Jerod is the undisputed best chef in the city. He can tell you what's in the chess pie.
Oh, I like that. And what about this cake?
That's a chocolate pound cake. Homemade.
Well,
chef made it.
It's beautiful. I can also feel the love in these. Well, listen, today we're talking about brunch with our mouths full. And, maybe that's how it should be done. But tell me this, what makes something a brunch food? Like, how much breakfast has to be in a brunch food? Jerod, you start.
Wow, so I like to merge the brunch with a little bit of soul food. But what makes brunch is like in between lunch and breakfast. That's the
food is.
Yeah, the food is. But now we make brunch an event now. Brunch has to have like music now, and some brunches have themes. And then you can have a soul food brunch. I mean, brunch is the foundation, and then you can layer it however you want.
Well, so John, what does that mean for you? Does brunch being an event, how does it, in your restaurants, what does that make it any different than any other meal people might come in for?
Well, we have Will Davenport. Will Davenport has a residency at the Justin Timberlake Club downtown. He's there every week. He's at Soul for brunch every Saturday and Sunday. So we have live music during our brunch. Not only you get to eat, you get to sit and listen to Will Davenport. He's one of the most phenomenal singers in the city.
So what kind of crowd is coming out to brunches in Nashville right now?
A lot of girls, people, they have plans at night, but during the day they make plans to let's meet up somewhere for brunch.
So are you saying people who've maybe kind of been out on the town on Saturday night and said, let's not end the party here, let's do something in the daylight?
Exactly. And the thing about my brunch, it's a vibe. It's an experience. You're not just going to eat. It's a total experience. It's the energy when you walk in the room.
Well, and if you haven't seen pictures or been to Soul, I assume it's not just the Charlotte location. I mean, there's flowers on the ceiling. I mean, what is the vibe? How would you explain it?
Well, we want to be different. I'm a native Nashvilleian, Whites Creek alum, TSU alum, and just wanted something different from my city. Nashville, country music is great, and it's fine. But when people come into the city, they want to see more, and they want more. So I wanted to come with a little different energy, something with soul. So it's soul not because of the food. It's soul because of the music and the energy and the fun.
If you're just joining us, I'm Blake Farmer. This is Nashville, and we're doing brunch with John Smith of Soul Restaurant and Jerod Wilcher of Butterfly Garden Brunch. And we're streaming it on YouTube today, youtube.com/@WPLN. And there will be more visuals later in the hour, so stay with us. It seems like brunch has become something like beyond when a few decades ago. Maybe that has it replaced kind of other weekend events? I'm wondering how much of the brunch crowd is kind of a post-church crowd and how much of it is sort of like an instead-of-church crowd?
Well, we get both at Butterfly Garden.
Yeah.
We have brunch from pretty much 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. So we get the before-church crowd, and then we get the after-church crowd. So, but like you said, brunch used to be like crumpets and tea type thing. In like the 70s.
A small meal. I was even reading about the history of it, and it was seen as this sort of small meal.
Right.
And I feel like brunch if someone just says the word brunch, it's anything but small.
Right. It's evolved. And like I said earlier, it's an event, and it's either music, some kind of entertainment, and then there's the great food, And then there's also the drinks. You can't have brunch without drinks. So at Butterfly Garden, we offer bottomless mimosas when you come to our event on Saturdays and Sundays from 11 to 4 p.m.
there it is. Well, John, tell me about this maybe the church crowd issue. I hear some people talk about brunch as almost like how they congregate, like getting together for maybe even a more meaningful moment than just let's have a meal together.
Right. A lot of people celebrate doing brunch. Instead of doing their birthday parties at night, during dinner time, they do their girlfriend meetups or bachelorette parties during brunch. Brunch is an experience. Nashville is a tourist city. So people come to Nashville not just to go out at night. They look for brunch places to hang out. And after church, some people want breakfast food because church lets out, depending on what service you go to. Some people want breakfast food. Some people want dinner food. So brunch offers a little bit of both.
Yeah. Yes. From a restaurateur's perspective, is there something about brunch that kind of helps give people a reason to, make it out for like a Sunday afternoon when it might be a quiet time otherwise?
Yeah. As a business person, it helps me out because that's a big revenue time because, dinner time Saturday and Friday nights pays most of the bills for most restaurants, the weekend. But brunch Saturdays and Sundays has turned out to be one of the most lucrative times also because people are trying to find that destination. They're trying to find a place where they can go vibe out with their friends and with their family.
Yeah. Well, what kind of groups are these? Does this feel like a family affair or more of a friend affair? Who's getting together for brunch?
My restaurants are tourist destinations. So people come to Nashville and they do a day or two on Broadway, but they're trying to find where the vibe is, where the energy is, where the soul is. Yeah. And they find me. And they come for the experience, and we give them experience. We celebrate their birthdays, their anniversaries, or whatever they have going on. So it's a whole total experience when you visit Soul.
Yeah. Jerod, brunch kind of goes beyond food a lot of times. It's almost like this social ritual. How do you see that coming to life out at your place at Butterfly Garden?
Well, we get a lot of groups to come out, and a lot of times it's a lot of people celebrating different things. So if you have like getting ready to get married, we have bachelorette parties that come in by the dozens. Then they come in with their theme outfits on. They wear the cowboy hats, the cowboy boots. Like John said, it's a tourist city, so they're coming ready. They got their cowboy boots on, their cowboy hats on. All the girls got together. So, they make it a family social event. So.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about brunch fashion later in the hour. And yes, it's the only reason I'm wearing a bow tie for the second time in my life today. That's not true. I used to wear one for singing in a tux. But what do people feel like they need to dress up for brunch? I'll be honest.
Yes.
I asked this because I'm a guy who kind of wears the same thing no matter what's going on. And it basically looks like what I'm wearing now without the bow tie. So why do people feel compelled to dress up? What are they trying to achieve?
It's like you're going out to a concert or a night out on the town. They get ready. They go out and buy nice outfits. It's pretty much a fashion show. It's like you coming out, you want to look your best, especially on a Sunday. You got your Sunday's best on. You in the best spot in Nashville, getting the best food. So you want to be representative of where you are with what you're wearing. So yeah, brunch, you definitely got to bring it when you putting those clothes on.
I got you. Well, John, you're unfortunately leaving us at the end of this segment, which is coming to a conclusion. So I just want to ask you about this. Are you a brunch guy yourself? Like, is this a thing that is important to you personally, or is this just what running a restaurant in 2025 requires of you?
Well, I like brunch. It's an experience, so I like it. A good term for a brunch is a day party. Imagine going to a night party. Brunch is a day party. We open our doors at 11 and the party starts. So it turns into a day party. So you dress. You come for fun. You come from an experience. You don't have to wait to go out at night. You can have a a vibe and an experience during the day. That's what brunch is.
All right, you can vibe during the day at Soul. Well, listen, we need to take a break, and when we return, we'll talk about what it takes to throw a proper brunch yourself. Yes, not all brunches have to be out. We'll say goodbye to John Smith here. Jerod's going to stay with us through the break. You stay with us, too. This is Nashville.
Funding for This Is Nashville comes from you, our listeners, and Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee, working to help donors make more possible through the power of community giving. More at cfmt.org. And Alliance Bernstein, built on a culture of knowledge and innovation to help advance the financial success of their clients. AllianceBernstein.com. Alliance Bernstein is not affiliated with National Public Radio.
WPLN is giving you a chance to win tickets to see your favorite artists in concert and explore new music and events. Visit the WPLN giveaway page at WPLN.org/giveaways.
I'm Peter O'Dowd. The number of people pumping Botox into their bodies has doubled in the past 5 years. Why?
The celebrity use of Botox, social media, the increased availability of Botox, social pressure, it's a bunch of things.
The booming business of Botox. Next time on Here and Now.
This afternoon at 1 on 90.3 WPLN News.
I'm Blake Farmer, and this is Nashville. Well, we're going to brunch this hour, and actually in this segment, we're kind of staying in for brunch. Brunch doesn't have to be out. It might be in, or at least not something you experience in a restaurant. So we're going to talk about what hosting a brunch looks like in Middle Tennessee. What's expected? What's maybe frowned upon? What could make it memorable? You can join us with some visual experience today if you'd like. YouTube.com/@WPLN. We are streaming live from the studio, and we have a centerpiece here brought in by Jovia King, who is an event planner. Her company is 30+ Events. Welcome to This is Nashville.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And Jerod Wilcher of Butterfly Garden Brunch is still with us to talk through throwing a brunch, something he does on the weekly. So, yes. Jovia, what makes brunch different than any other kind of midday event that people might throw? I mean, I could imagine a shower, a luncheon. What's a brunch?
Brunch is an opportunity to just share and fellowship with food. And with me, my side is that I love to decorate. So I'm looking for the decor to pop, to bring a sense of unison together and be able to fellowship and enjoy each other's company.
So what are people looking for in terms of a theme when they're asking for your help in throwing a brunch? And throwing a brunch sounds kind of funny. Putting on a brunch.
Putting on a brunch. Yeah, so there are various themes. Some people like to do a garden brunch. You might be into flowers. You might want to have a more outdoorsy kind of vibe. So there are several, if you want to do sports. I mean, the sky's the limit. It's all kinds of themes.
What do you want to do if someone has asked you for help with a brunch and they just say, listen, you're the expert, you do your thing. What do you want to bring in?
Well, I'm a fan of flowers because they just automatically give you pop of color. Having color, having something colorful, it just brings your eye, makes it more vibrant. I love candles. So I'm into that simplistic kind of theme where you can just have your color and make it more minimalist. So that's just my style personally, but I go with whatever a person wants.
Yeah. Well, Jerod, I wonder what kind of foods served when you're, let's say, hosting a brunch that you might not have if you don't have a commercial kitchen at a restaurant. Like if you're trying to put on a brunch yourself, how might that change the menu?
I like to think of brunch food as a foundation, and then you expand on the foundation. So if you're throwing a brunch at your house, of course you can have the basic chicken and waffles, But how would you expand on those waffles? Like, just don't make regular waffles. You could do red velvet waffles. You could do cinnamon apple waffles. You can have a whole waffle station in your own home. You can do a waffle station and add chocolate chips and different syrups. And the same thing with grits. You can have a grit station where you can have grits and then all the toppings, bacon, sausage, cheese, shrimp. So think of if you're at home and you're trying to, throw an event for yourself, just think of the basics and then try to expand on those basics.
I like what you're getting at because I'm thinking, listen, I'm not going to name names, but some of us have in our lives what you might call picky eaters.
Correct.
And if you want to make something interesting, you think about the picky eaters and think about them, and their sad feelings. So you're saying maybe break everything up.
Yes.
Which kind of could make it special for everybody.
Correct. You break everything up and then give them the option on what they want to add to it. And then with that, you got something for everyone. And then aesthetically, it's beautiful to look at because you have all the different colors of all the different food ingredients to build upon.
So you have your waffle station or your grit station. Never thought of a grit station.
Yes.
You're saying that it almost seconds as a decor.
Yes, it does.
It could complement that. What about? I don't know if this is an appropriate question for you, Jerod, or someone else. But is there a particular drink that goes with brunches in Nashville? Like, and I'm thinking of like, is there a particular kind of fruit tea or something that's like, oh, if you're doing a brunch, you got to have this in Nashville.
Man, yes. I'm saying, because this is what I do every single weekend. You got to have mimosas.
You have to have mimosas.
You have, if there's you can't have a brunch and not have mimosas. Like everyone's going to be like, "Where's the mimosas?" And then there's the variety of flavors. There's the sky's the limit to the amount of flavors.
Wait, what? How do you flavor a mimosa? I mean, is it not just sort of orange juice and champagne?
See, that's what.
All right, help me out here.
I got you. So remember how I said you got your basics and then you build on your basics? So why just go with orange juice when there's 20,000 different flavored juices in the stores?
Okay, well, what else would one combine that would be appropriate?
Apple, cranberry. Pineapple is a favorite.
Really? And you still call it a mimosa?
Yeah,
at some point, it's still a mimosa.
Yeah, pineapple mimosa.
All right. Well, Jovia's on board with that. I mean.
Yeah, I'm shaking my head here because that's one of the things. I've seen brunches, and they definitely have mimosas. I build up mimosa bars. I use different juices, like you mentioned, and different pitchers. You'll have a display of fruit to go along with that. Place it in different bowls, your strawberries, your blueberries, oranges, slices. And yeah, you've built up a mimosa bar, so absolutely.
I wonder, Jerod, if let's say a non-alcoholic version of the mimosa, what does one use instead of the champagne? Just a sort of soda water, or is there something more interesting to do?
No, you can do, like you said, the soda water, Sprite, but then there's fruit teas that you can drink,
I do.
Yeah.
But less of a party, you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. But to each his own.
To each his own. If you're just joining us, I'm Blake Farmer. This is Nashville, and we're talking about stuff we don't normally talk about. We're talking about brunching in Middle Tennessee. Specifically, event planner Jovia King and chef Jerod Wilcher are talking about what it looks like to host your own brunch. And if you'd like to get a peek in here in the studio, we're streaming video from the studio. It's youtube.com/@WPLN. Jovia, you've been working in event planning for a number of years. I was going to say since before the pandemic, which seems like forever ago, but 2019. So what first drew you to get into this?
Well, I just enjoy people celebrating life. So I enjoy celebrations. I enjoy birthdays and baby showers, graduations, the milestones in life. And I enjoy the decorating part. So I focus more on the decorating part than the actual planning part of it. So something just as simple, like I have today, just a little spray of flowers, it just instantly just spruced up the place here. So
you don't say.
Yeah. And I haven't done much. Did this in less than 60 seconds. So yeah, just things like that. Balloons. As soon as I walk through the door with balloons, people automatically smile. Balloons make people smile.
I think, though, there are people who feel like, I'm not good at that. I can't do that. What would you suggest to them? Besides
that's what I'm
hiring
here
you.
for.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
But, there are
Why do people need some assistance? Because when you have somebody who has the skill, the experience, it seems so easy. Almost like, well, of course that made this place look better and more inviting. But people need a little nudge or a little help. Why do you think that is?
Well, a lot of times people are busy. You're working your 9 to 5, you have children, all kinds of life is just going on. So a lot of times it's just a time thing. So to take the time off, that's where I can provide relief there. And sometimes there's just don't have the know-how. You just don't know how to do it. So that's where I could fall into play. Mm-hmm. And, sometimes, you just don't want to be bothered with it. And that's okay, too.
You've talked some about, like, the myths around designing for events, like needing expensive decor or that everything has to match perfectly. I wonder if you could talk about maybe some of those misconceptions you see. Let's say somebody's trying to plan their own brunch, how you kind of get beyond that and move past it.
Yeah, so one of the myths is that you have to have expensive decor, and that's not true. You could use simple Dollar Tree flowers or candles, or you can use things that you may have around the house already. You could use a scarf and just use that as a table runner. You could use mugs that you might have, some glassware set that you may have already in the house that you can use. So you don't have to spend a lot of money. The idea here is just to be intentional, to show that you put some effort into it. Another myth is that you have to use fresh flowers, and that's not true. Nowadays, artificial flowers look just as realistic.
I have to touch them because I can't believe it sometimes.
Absolutely. So you don't have to have fresh flowers. You can use artificial flowers. So that's not the thing. Or you don't even have to use flowers at all. Candles work fine. That's very inexpensive. Or you can use fruit. Have a bouquet of fruit, like in a bowl arrangement there. So it's so many ways that you can do, and you don't have to have everything perfectly matched. Sometimes when everything is perfectly matched, color-wise, pattern design, it looks too formal, and that may not be the look that you're after.
Well, and you may have the eye for it, but I think I'll see things and I wonder, how did someone think this stack of books was going to look good? And it does. It's like how would you suggest people kind of go about thinking through those ideas? I mean, is Pinterest still a place people get ideas for this kind of thing?
Yes, Pinterest is definitely a place. I still use Pinterest.
Yeah.
So. Again, you want to make it look intentional, like you tried, not just in a way that you just kind of, if you're using books, you just threw books on the table.
Right.
When it kind of making it intentional. When you're doing a tablescaping, you kind of want to have your ups and downs. You don't want to have everything eye levels. You kind of want to have things raised, elevated, some things down low, to bring attention as a focal point.
Jerod, you've talked a little bit about how brunch is more than food, that it's obviously this experience that we've been talking about. Mm-hmm. And I wonder, what makes it an experience? Is it a matter of having just like a ton of food options, just like making it more than having somebody over for a particular dish?
Yes, it's definitely more than just the food option. It's like she said, the decor is a big part of it, the aesthetics when you walk in. You want people to know you're at brunch. It's not lunch. It's not dinner. This is brunch. You only get this at brunch. The decor is definitely a part of it, the vibe. And when we say vibe, we mean the tone of the building. What are you giving? Is it great music? Is it live music? Is it a DJ? And then the atmosphere, as far as what you're creating for the atmosphere. Is it fun? Is it uplifting? Is it calm? Is it relaxing? So all those things together combine for a great brunch experience.
Jovia, you've talked about how like brunch often kind of brings the outdoors in. What about taking brunch outside?
Absolutely. That's another myth. People think you have to be indoors. You do not. If you have a nice patio or even a garden spot out in the park, you can take it outside. It works just fine.
I wonder, though, we've talked about, again, brunch being more than a meal, that it's kind of this cultural gathering, a way for folks to kind of connect, recharge. I mean, it's often on a weekend day. Is there anything about the way you design the elements of a brunch that help people do that? Help them connect?
Help them connect. Well, I have to be mindful when I'm setting up. For example, centerpieces. You don't want centerpieces to be too high for guests to, cannot converse from one another. For instance, you and I are across each other. I don't want anything that's too high where it blocks the vision, where I can't see you and make eye contact.
Yes,
so
if the centerpiece is getting in the way, that's a problem.
Yes. So that's something to be mindful of. Now, if it is a high centerpiece, it would need to be see-through. So those are the things that you need to keep in mind when you're doing. You don't want to block the vision and block people's interaction and making the centerpiece to be a distraction.
Jerod, what do you do with music? Because, you could have the music too loud and people can't talk. You can have it too soft. They don't notice, the vibe's all wrong.
Yeah, so that's a good question. And to everyone, that's an opinion for everyone. So we try to keep the music mid-level. Now, there are times during the brunch where these people get what we call turned up, and at that moment,
in the middle of the day.
Yes, in the middle of the day, they get turned up, and you can tell. Honestly, you can read the room and read the crowd. If they're like relaxed, you just keep it relaxed. But if you play a song and they start dancing, you want to keep playing those type of songs to keep them, in the mood that they're creating. You let the room create the atmosphere, and we just follow the room.
You follow the room. Well, if the room is maybe inside your own house or something like that, Jovia, is there a way to, make the most of a small space? Because I could imagine people thinking, this sounds fun. Where am I going to put all these people?
So sometimes you might have to move your furniture around, but you want to be able to have a space that people can kind of go in and out and kind of flow around, because you want to be able to get to the food. So you want to have the place where the food can be accessible, and then people can sit comfortably at the tables.
Well, we're talking today about doing brunch and doing brunch right in Middle Tennessee, and we need to take one more break. When we return, we're going to get some fashion help, and as I've confessed, I kind of need it. I'm afraid I may learn that my wardrobe of button-downs and sensible slacks are not going to cut it at 2025 brunch. So stay with us. This is Nashville.
Funding for This Is Nashville comes from you, our listeners, and Amazon, proud sponsor of WPLN's daily show, This Is Nashville, engaging our differences so we can discover our unity. More on Amazon's community work at aboutamazon.com. And Davidson County Clerk's Office with a reminder that most license plate renewals may be completed at area kiosk locations, including Bordeaux Library, Farmers Market, East Branch Library, and Bellevue. More at countyclerk.nashville.gov. And Second Harvest. 1 in 7 Tennesseans faces hunger, but when others take one action to help those in need, that's when progress is made. That's the power of one. SecondHarvestMidTN.org.
Nashville Public Radio, we're not done. We're not going anywhere, and it is all because of you. I'm music reporter Justin Barney. It's true we were down $400,000, taken back through the federal clawback, but your contributions filled the gap. Together, there's more work to do. We're committed to serving you and to figuring out our new funding reality. You can continue to support us at WPLN.org/give. And thank you.
I'm Blake Farmer, and this is Nashville. We are brunching today, and the shrimp and grits that I had before just a single bite are staring me in the face and getting cold every minute, so I look forward to heating that back up and eating it. But we're going to brunch, we're hosting a brunch, we're going out to brunch, and we're learning that what you wear to brunch matters. This Is Nashville guest producer Anthony White is schooling us today in all things brunch. His sister is a stylist, so we're going to hear from Carissa Swanson to kick off our chat about brunch style.
When I think about brunch and lunch, I try to think about my girlfriend. So brunch to me is that girlfriend that has tons of energy and lots of personality, whereas lunch is my more quieter, reserved friend. She's functional, she's business casual, she's errand ready, whereas my brunch girlie is creative. She gives you an opportunity to play around with colors, textures, silhouettes. Brunch to me is less about the meal and more about the moment. Many of us, the very first thing we do when we get that brunch invite is get on our digital devices and start throwing things into our cart, right? But most of the time we have stuff in our closet, and a lot of the time they still have tags on it. So I'm going to say shop your closet. It's easy to find pieces in your closet that if you add a pop of color to it, it gives it a whole new vibe. You want to think like a white button down that's kind of tucked or knotted. Pair that over a tank, and maybe pair that with like a bold lip, sunglasses. I'm thinking like a printed scarf to elevate your look. And then play around with textures. So think of denims with silks, cotton with faux leather. This creates a visual interest. Lead with your top. Kind of let your top guide your styling. So whether that's a flowy blouse or a structured crop or a statement sleeve paired with denim pant, a wide leg trouser, and then you can accessorize that with, I don't know, maybe like some sunnies, a cute clutch, a wedged sandal, a heel. You want to think about picking out things that are expressive but also comfortable. Probably the biggest misconception is that you have to be super dressed up. Like heels, bodycons, Easter dresses with matching hats and shoes. And it's just not that deep. Brunch is more of a social midday vibe that is both effortless and polished. So you want to think elevated casual with a little soft tailoring.
I'm laughing my way through that whole thing because I'm such a fish out of water on this thing. Anthony, thank you for putting this together. But where do we even start? So joining us to talk through brunch fashion, in Nashville anyway, is Milton White of the Fashion Office. Welcome to This Is Nashville.
Thank you.
Are you leading with the top today?
I'm leading with the top.
All right. So if you'd like to join us to get a visual here, you can stream video of today's show at youtube.com/@WPLN. But I comment on your jacket because it's a color that I'm not sure I know what word to use for it.
It is neon.
Yes.
Yellow family, little almost light green.
Yes. And what about this? Is it a pin? What would...
This is it's a pin. It's a brooch.
Yes.
When I work with clients, I encourage them to have a style signature or sometimes more than one. Everyone knows me because I have a ponytail. I almost always have a brooch if I'm wearing a jacket, and I've done it. It's been on trend for men over the last maybe year, especially on the red carpet, but I've been doing it for a while.
You're saying a brooch is on style at the moment. Well, all right. So you're talking to someone here who basically wears the same thing almost year round. It almost doesn't matter the occasion. Inspire me to level up for brunch.
Well, I think that for guys, it could be super simple. Like in the winter, wear a turtleneck instead of a button-down shirt. Do a black turtleneck over a pair of khakis or a new pair of jeans. You could do that with a sport coat. And those are easy things that you can do. I'm assuming that you have a sport coat in your closet.
You know, there's a sport coat. It might have some dust on the shoulders.
Well, we can dust that off and layer it with something. Even a crisp white shirt.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. I mean, I wore a scarf as a tie, and you could certainly do something like that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be, like you said, it doesn't have to be. I mean, I think that people should be conscious of what they're wearing. I think they should put effort into it. It doesn't have to be that deep. I don't think it has to be super dressy, depending on where you're going. But I do think if you're missing the memo on what you're wearing to brunch, then you've kind of missed the whole memo about what brunch is for and about.
You're saying that brunch, what one wears to a brunch is part of the deal.
For me personally, brunch is about two things. It is about the fashion, and it is about the mimosas you mentioned earlier.
Well, I like that. All right, so Carissa said, elevated casual with a little soft tailor. And I'm sorry that I need an interpreter, but what does that mean?
So I think that it could mean, again, it could mean wearing a jacket or a cardigan or a sweater, or having some sort of like piece that anchors the look and doing something easy and soft underneath. It could be a turtleneck, whether you're a guy or a girl. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to wear a suit, and it doesn't mean that you need to look corporate, and people don't really look all that corporate anymore, but it's softer than that. It could mean a beautiful dress for a woman, or it could mean a beautiful dress for whoever is wearing a dress. It doesn't have to be a woman, but whoever's doing that. It could be, I love a great pair of like wide leg pants.
All right. Well, speaking of wide leg pants, Anthony behind the glass. Can you make your way over here for just a second? Just make a cameo here for a second. Anthony's really responsible for today anyway.
I love those pants.
Well, all right, Anthony, can you sit down at the yellow mic here? Because those, I don't even know what to call those pants that are very flowy. And what do you call them?
Well, I will tell you.
This is Anthony White, by the way, producer for today's show.
Yes, sir. So I will tell you, I actually work with the stylist for these pants out of L.A. And that sounds really bougie, but it's really not. Lakeholm was his name. He's a stylist out of L.A. And he actually made these flare pants for those who can't see. It's kind of a pant, but it also has a flare that's attached to it. So when you walk, it just flows effortlessly, literally in the wind. And I have a black pair, and I also have a blue pair. So
wow. Yeah. So is that your statement piece? I mean, Milton, I guess that's what you're referring to.
It's looking like
you're a flare pant guy.
My signature for this season is a little flary. So
all right. Well, Milton's going to comment on your look. Can you stand up so the cameras can pick you up? The youtube.com/@WPLN. He didn't know it was going to be part of the fashion show, but there he is.
This is a great look, and he's done almost exactly what I have done, just in a different colorway.
Ah, yes.
So we both have on a jacket.
Yep.
Double-breasted.
I'm wearing a button-down shirt. He's wearing a t-shirt or a tank, which is fine. But we both have on a scarf.
Yeah, both have a
Gucci
scarf.
Scarves.
His is.
And then he's got on a green pant. Like, I'm really jealous that I did not wear a wide leg pant today. Really jealous.
Well, but Anthony, thank you so much for the cameo. Let me ask this as a question. This is, and I think this works whether it's a feminine look, a masculine look. I gotta say, I would feel if I was wearing something so loud, I would be so self-conscious, and I'm not even a self-conscious person. How do I get over that?
You have to be like a baby bird and be pushed out of the nest.
Maybe that's it.
Like with my clients, whether they know it or not, they want me to push them outside of their comfort zone just a little bit. So maybe it doesn't mean that you wear a jacket this color. It maybe means that you start wearing a jacket of color.
Oh.
So are you a sports fan?
Barely.
Okay. I'll find a reason for you to wear a color. Okay. If you were a sports fan and were maybe leaning into like, I don't know, orange for Vols or something like that, it becomes easier.
It's related.
Yeah, it can become related, and you have some sort of attachment and detachment. You're detached from the fact that you're wearing a bright color, but you're attached to the color because you love the team.
It has a purpose. I like this. Well, listen, this is not intended to be fashion advice for Blake Farmer, but if you're just tuning in and wondering what you're listening to, this is Nashville. We're talking brunch today, and right now, as we wrap up the hour, we're talking brunch fashion, and if you need to join us visually here in the studio, you can join us at youtube.com/@WPLN. You'll see the video stream. Milton, in the South, Sunday brunch often kind of flows right out of church for a lot of people. And I wonder if you see that kind of church tradition that maybe shapes some of what brunch fashion is in Nashville?
Oh, sure. I mean, I think that in all the southern states, church can be a very big part of that culture. Yeah. And I have some friends that have all said they either are currently going to church or want to get back into going to church. And their incentive for part of it is to gather up with friends that maybe they don't go to the same church, but they would gather later for brunch once that's done. But I think there are a lot of people that don't necessarily go to brunch, and that's part of that experience too. I've seen both, and I see a lot of both.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it does seem, and this is, of course, outside of fashion, but I guess fashion's what you almost need an excuse to get dressed up, right? It's maybe you would disagree.
Well, I think a lot of people. Society has become more casual, so I think that a lot of people
talk about that.
Are looking for reasons to get dressed up. I think because it's become so casual and people are kind of living in this Lululemon world, which I personally don't care for.
Uh-oh, he went there.
I did. It's just as easy to put your both legs into a pair of pants that are not athletic pants. I mean, they're just,
why have we gotten so casual? Is that a COVID thing?
It was before COVID.
So it wasn't that we just all got used to maybe working out of the basement.
It's a combination of things. It's laziness. It's people sometimes embrace the homogeny of and don't necessarily want to stand out. They see 10 other people doing it. They'll do the same thing. I personally don't think anyone should live in athletic wear all day long. I've said to several clients, girlfriends, whatever, would you send your husband to the grocery store in a pair of Speedos? I mean, I might enjoy it, but the rest of the world may not, and you may not. And that's kind of what it's like. It's not, I don't know. I just think there's a lack of respect. And I think that you should put some effort into what you look like when you leave the house.
Well, I feel attacked, and yet I feel inspired at the same time. You mentioned that Sex and the City is maybe a kind of a turning point for brunch entering the cultural spotlight. Yeah. Do you think the legacy shows up even in like the Nashville brunch scene?
Oh, yeah.
How so?
So before Nashville even had a food scene, the brunch was starting to happen. I mean, I was just saying to Anthony earlier, Sex and the City was a huge thing, and it happened, every Sunday night back in the day. But once the brunch thing became kind of a thing with Carrie and Samantha and Miranda and Charlotte and all the girls, you would see people go out Friday night, Saturday night, get up on Sunday, get dressed up, go to brunch. In Nashville, you could go to Tribe. They would do a brunch at the bar. And I forget where they got the food from, but you eat, drink, and you visit, and then you'd kind of figure out whether or not you'd continue all that drinking through the rest of the day and go out Sunday night or not.
Okay. So you're saying that you could see the influence because why else would you try to serve a meal at a bar on a Sunday?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you've talked about the misconception that brunch fashion has to be this kind of Carrie Bradshaw moment. So what do you say to people who feel intimidated or anxious about dressing for brunch?
Well, I think that you should lean into your own style. And I think that, this is not a plug, but I think that if you don't know what that is, you hire someone to help you get there. Like if you were sick, you'd go to a doctor.
That's the lightest plug I've ever heard, Milton. So well done.
I mean, go to a professional that knows what they're doing. Yeah. Get them to help you. If they're good at what they're doing, they're going to help you find the best version of yourself and not be another version of who they are.
Well, it does get attention because our folks who are streaming on YouTube, Brian says, "Good day, gentlemen. Nice tie, Blake." Nothing to say about Milton over here. I mean, good grief.
Okay.
Look at the brooch.
The tie looks great.
Well, this is from Anthony. I'm borrowing it for the day. And Leslie says, "Love the bow tie, Blake." All right. Well, so what it suggests is when you put some effort forward, it pays dividends.
Even if it's casual, and I think that you can look great being casual, and I think you can and should be casual for brunch if that's the venue and the place and the mood and the vibe and all of that. Sometimes it's not a casual vibe, and then you should not be casual. I would prefer to be overdressed than underdressed, but I also wouldn't want to make everyone feel uncomfortable. And I wouldn't necessarily, clearly I don't mind attention.
Well, wrap us up with this. For folks who are listening and thinking, all right, I'm ready to take, well, it could be for either. Folks who are ready to take their first step towards something a little more fashionable or just what's sort of new. What does fall 2025 fashion look like in Nashville when you're headed to brunch?
Chocolate is a big color it was on the runways for both men and women, and it's a food description. So I think that we're going to see a lot of that.
Chocolate? In what way? That could be a shirt, pants,
it could be any
scarf,
it could be
jacket.
Either it could be completely tonal where you're doing different shades of brown. It could be all the same color, or it could just be a punch of that. Chocolate is a color that works very well with navy. It works well with gray. It works well with black. So you could do it either on its own or with other things.
Well, you weren't expecting fashion advice today, and perhaps you weren't even thinking about putting on a brunch in the next few weeks or checking out one of the fair brunch places here in Middle Tennessee. But that's what you got today. Milton White's director of the fashion office. Thank you for helping us dress appropriately for a Nashville brunch.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for tuning in this hour. This is Nashville as a production of Nashville Public Radio. Today's episode was produced by Anthony White with help from Josh Deepan, directed by Tasha A.F. Limley, who dressed for brunch today. She's also making us look good on the video stream. Our board operator is Liv Lombardi. Masterminds behind that theme music you hear are Larange and Namir Blade. Special thanks to Butterfly Garden Brunch for this spread that's out in the hallway waiting for me, and to Soul Restaurant for feeding us today. Listen back at thisisnashville.org or wherever you get good podcasts. If you miss a show, it is easy peasy to ask a smart speaker to play the latest episode of This Is Nashville. Just try it. You can also watch most of our shows on YouTube. The live stream is archived there at youtube.com/@WPLN. Just click on the little live tab. Conversation doesn't have to end here. You can comment, tell us what you want to hear on the show by leaving us a message on that live stream video feed, or 615-751-2500. You can also find us on the socials. This is Nashville. I'm Blake Farmer. Brunch in peace.
I'm Michael Barbaro, host of The Daily. Wherever the story is, New York Times journalists take you there. Like The Daily's Sabrina Tavernise, reporting alongside Ukrainians fleeing the Russian assault on their country.
She took us to her hotel, and we saw people lying everywhere. Suddenly we heard these air raid sirens.
We're there to help you understand what's happening in the world. That's The Daily from The New York Times.
Tonight at 6:30 on 90.3 WPLN News.
This is 90.3 WPLN.
Nashville Public Radio.
And 91.7 WHRS Cookeville.
Nashville's home for Morning Edition and NPR News.
WPLN.org is where you can find more from WPLN News, including the Nash Villager, your human-powered newsletter and podcast, exploring Nashville news and history. Subscribe to both at WPLN.org.